Yeah.
So here we go. Hello everybody. I'm just going to share this out and actually make sure that we're talking as well and people can hear us, because there'll be 90 minutes of our mouths just moving up and down.
Moving, yeah.
So
might be a good thing.
It might be, yeah.
With me.
So let's have a little listen to this. Oh yeah, that seems to be okay. Yeah, there's a slight buzz, so I'm just going to...
It's not the fire, is it?
No, it's because it's the way it's plugged in at the moment. So let me just sort out the mic. And there's a delay. Hello, Cowabunga. I hope that you're doing okay.
Hello, Cowabunga. Hello, love. I've heard a lot about you. Well, not about you. I know you're on there.
So,
a fan.
Yeah.
A fan of Paul.
So let me know. Is that okay for everyone? I was going to share this out. There's a slight buzz in the background, but I don't think it's too... Oh, actually, the buzz is gone now. I've managed to sort it out. Perfect. Let me share this out. Blimey. Making the right mess.
You'll have to tell me who's online in that, because I can't see a thing.
No, absolutely. So we have Cowabunga, Wendy, and Kelly is online at the moment. So I'm just sharing this out. Kelly Dungins.
Oh, Duggins.
Duggins.
Yeah, that's our medium. You know Kelly. Hello,
yes.
Kelly.
Hello, Kelly. How's you?
Who? Wendy?
And Wendy Crichton.
Crichton, yeah.
I tend to just say first name because of being dyslexic.
Yeah.
And Paula Stevens is on there.
Oh, hello.
They're the ones on at the moment.
Yeah.
So, yes, we can all see us.
Shit. I mean, sugar. Sugar. Nearly.
The sugar's just here if you want it.
No, I was trying not to swear.
I don't think anybody noticed. I think we'll get away with it.
I was thinking more your mum and your chair, but it's all right. I just saved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hello, everyone. Where am I looking? Over there or wherever?
I don't know. FDL Paranormal is here as well. So we've got FDL Paranormal is here. So we've got our coffees.
Yeah.
In Alex's favourite mug. So Alex,
cheers, everyone.
Alex.
What does FDL stand for then?
Do you let me know what FDL stands for, please?
Yeah, we'd like to know these things.
Yeah. So, yes, it last minute, I just shifted everything around. It was all going really well. And then the original cam I had it plugged into decided to just go green. So then swapped everything around. But we managed to go in. All it means is that to lead it up, and I have to just have a little bit more of a lean than usual.
Right.
But yes, I thought what would be really fun to do today is we did the Gloucester. Well, Lyn did the Gloucester Walks for many years. We did it for about a year together.
We did.
And we also go into the books, the two wonderful books. So let me get that here. The Wonderful Paranormal Gloucester.
That was the first one.
This is the very first one, and the I can't read it.
Gloucester's Ghosts and Giggles.
Ghosts
the
and
second
Giggles,
one. Yeah, it took me 3 months to do the first one, 7 years to do the second one.
Yes,
because I was lazy. Well, no, I was busy.
Yes, you were busy, and also as well, you wanted to take the care and do it nicely, basically.
Yeah. It was a lot of the fun stuff when we did the Ghost Walks.
Yeah, and Bon is watching Bonzam. So
Bon,
B-O-N.
Oh, okay. Hiya, Bon.
So yeah, and it's morning, so I'll take it to someone else.
All right, okay.
Chris Williams is here as well. Did I say Paula Stevens? I think I did.
Yeah, you did.
Hello to you. So
hello. Yeah.
All good. So
yes.
Lovely. I thought we'll kind of go through the route we used to do and what we remember about.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Many years ago, mine. I mean, oops. What's my language? Yeah. I only started one night a week, if you remember. And I think it was a Wednesday. Then the council said, would I do one on a Thursday, but earlier? So, and then there were some people that wanted it on a Friday. So hence you come in as well, didn't you? And we did, I don't know, whatever and whenever people wanted us.
Well, we started off, when it was the first year, it was just Wednesdays only to begin with, apart from the occasional bookings.
Yeah.
And it was put in the local press, and not so because they've been really good to me recently, but it was kind of like by appointment, and it went in there every single Wednesday.
Yeah. So the tourist information, they published it a lot, and I did the little flyers, and they said they're literally flying out. So I had to keep doing those. We met outside the tourist information, didn't we? At night. and I popped in there in the daytime to see everybody as well. I mean, that was a major thing that got us going, was to get us recognised, wasn't it? We would go into different areas, different venues, different pubs, recognise and introduce ourselves, and that's how we got people got to know us. And of course, then there was when I got my cloak and my hat on, and I shout out in the street, "Bring out the dead!" Then you know they, oh, here she is. But yeah, it took nearly a year to build right up, as most businesses do. So from what I gather, but once we got going, it was oh, if I dropped it, trust me.
Sorry,
once I got going, it was hilarious, wasn't it? At times.
Do let me know as well if you hear any mic rustle, if anything sounds good and nice and clear for
probably
everybody.
Me drinking me coffee.
I was just realising that my biscuit, it was probably crunching a bit at the moment. I remember we used to meet at the Tourist Informations, which is now a chemist, you know, which is a well, it's what it is, but you know, it's useful.
Yeah.
And then we used to go to the Bell to begin with, and that was your story to begin with.
Oh, that's it. We shared stories, didn't we? I did one, then you did one.
Yeah.
And then we went on through the night like that, and it started off with, it's supposed to have been an hour, and we always ended up nearly an hour and a half to 2 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So much history, so many people wanting to know more, and we didn't exactly rush around, did we? So
no,
you know. And then when you left to do your NLP and that, I still done it, and I done it with my scarers, and it used to go well over 2 hours sometimes.
So I remember the story that I remember most about it, and then you can sort of fill me in, is that I remember that there was a gentleman, he was kind of like a biker, and he got hit in the back of the head with a bar of soap, and it really freaked him out.
Yeah.
I remember there was also talk about the Mayflower there as well. The other thing that I remember about it, and do get your questions in. Hi, Chris. Karen Johnson, hello Karen.
Oh,
is Sean one of the scarers? I remember we did an investigation there one evening, and he actually saw somebody walk through the wall. And I remember he actually looked quite shaken.
Yeah,
by the
he
whole
did.
experience.
Yeah, we thought he was having us on, but he wasn't. We realised he wasn't. That's a weird place. That was we had a lot of encounters there, definitely. But it's. Oh, there's so much, and it's all buzzing around in my head. But we used to stand outside first, didn't we?
Yes, yeah.
And we would talk about the woods and how it looked like a ship. And then there were some stories that it came from the Mayflower ship.
Yeah.
That went over from Plymouth to where was it?
Newfoundland.
Newfoundland, yeah, with the Pilgrims. And then the ship disappeared apparently. Then it was found in a barn. So don't ask me how you can get a blooming great sailing ship in a barn, but there you go. That's the history or the stories that went around. And then they dismantled the wood and put it in the old bell. And a lot of people said, "Oh no." But when they did some, was it Dado or Dendo?
Yeah.
Testing, they did find a very high content of salt in that wood. So where would that salt come in the wood if it was only from the city? But we did get a hell of a lot of wood from 4 buildings from the Forest of Dean, and I think was it Henry VIII or one of them?
the history buffs, please let us know.
yeah, I can't. It's a while now, but they donated a lot of it to some of the priories as well. But getting back to the bell, we've had some weird stuff in there. Were you there that night when the Father Christmas went off?
No, I wasn't. I must say hello to Becky Lewis Russia.
Oh, Becky, hi love. I messaged her earlier.
Yes, she said hi, Lyn. I did message you back.
Oh, I missed it going to the doctor's house, but because bless her, she fell off one of them blooming scooters, didn't she?
Yeah,
hurt herself very bad. Get better
well,
soon, darling.
Becky.
I have been thinking about her a lot. So where was I?
You were saying about the salt in the woods.
Oh yeah,
and Henry, you were talking about.
Yeah, and in those days, going way back, they would have the assizes, which would be a courthouse today, but they didn't have courts in those days, so they used the pubs for the courts and assizes, and that's where they sentenced people as well. And even like the New Inn, they had a tree there that they would actually hang some of them off with it. They didn't all go down to prison. They didn't all go down to Over, or whatever you want to call it.
Over.
Yeah. So we would stand outside the old bell and we would talk and everything and tell the history. And anybody in there would open the windows and shout back at us.
Yeah.
And the biker that you mentioned, that all the stories are true. Well, what I was told. He went in there and he just said he was on his own and went to the toilet and then washed his hands, and he just had a feeling somebody was behind him or watching him, and this bar of soap hit him in the back of the head.
Also, the first bar you get to is very interesting. It's got the most amazing fireplace there. Yeah. But it's actually one of the children has 6 fingers, I think, on the left hand.
Yeah, one of the cherubs.
Yeah. So was that to do with not born in marriage or something like that?
Yeah. Well, it was a bit of a folklore saying if you were born with 6 digits and you were born out of wedlock.
Yeah.
But that's that could go back to a lot of old folk tales and myths and legends and all the rest of it, couldn't it? But the fireplace itself was from the Berkeley family. It's got the coat of arms of the Berkeley family on it, and the mother and the sons and that, and the feathers. We used to think like it was feathers, but it was actually quills or pens. So it is actually telling a story. And if I remember correctly, it says 1650 on the plaque.
Yes.
So that was in the past as well. The past landlords have said they've seen a man there, bit looking like a Quaker, like the type of Quaker hats, standing at the bar, which there would have been somebody like that because he would have been a judge or magistrate.
Exactly.
They even went back into the slave trade. Was everything was done there, and then of course the building itself was other trades as well. It was the City Tea Warehouse, and at the very, very top there was a big plaque saying City Tea Warehouse. Where that sign went, I don't know. Probably in some basement somewhere, hidden away.
Yeah, probably.
And there was a big tea canister outside on the roof between the 2 windows that are still there now. Where that went, we don't know. It was also called the old Blue Room, where a man from the council was a Conservative, and he painted it bright blue so that everybody in the street knew where he lived.
Yeah.
So that was all good. Oh yeah, lovely. Thank you. Yeah.
So
thank you, Moira.
Yeah, we've got a photo here if people want to see. So that's the it's shining back. Is that helping at all? But that's what the fireplace looks like. And sorry about the if I turn that around, does that help? Bit of a glare, but I've got it set up like a film studio in here with lights at the moment. I'll post that again. Maybe I'll pass that to Lindsay to put on so we can see about it.
Yeah. So when we done the bell, I mean, there's a lot more to it, but we would be here all night just talking about a couple of buildings.
Yes.
I did the bell, and then you did what?
It's a New Inn next.
Was it you did the New Inn next? Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stories I remember. I mean, it's a fantastic building, the New Inn, and I remember that Lady Jane Grey was supposed to have been proclaimed. I always stick that she was actually.
She was there.
Yeah, I always say she was. Yeah. Because as my mum said that there would have been like it would have all come across in one go, and it would have been like they'd whipped her away from there, and everything would happen so quickly. Yeah. Plus, well, it's nice to say for Gloucester as well. Yeah,
she was definitely proclaimed queen there, but whether she actually stayed there is very, very debatable. There's some say yes, some say no.
Yeah. But
the plaque's there, whatever. So but that's a fine galleried inn, one of the best in the country, apparently. Would be even better if it had some work done to it. Sorry, but it's true.
But I know that some of the things happened. The bottles had fallen off the shelves.
Yeah.
Remained unbroken. I spoke to one of the ladies there, and I've forgotten her name because it's not like we've been practicing these talks. We haven't done them for ages.
No,
so,
no,
it's
all up here.
Yeah. So, but I remember one of the ladies that was working there. She said that she was just locking up, and a can of Red Bull empty fell on the floor. By the way, did I say to Sharon Cunningham, hello to you?
Hello to anybody who just joined.
So I'll try and look at. I've got the computer screen over here, so we've got it all set up in a slightly different way, but it makes it more fun, you know. This way. Yeah. And the other thing that I remember, I think actually they used to have a coach there, and there was talk of it moving at one point.
It got nicked.
Yes, yeah. It
got stolen.
Did they ever know who did it?
Yeah, they think they know who did it, but they couldn't find it again. So.
Yeah,
I'm not saying who.
I know we had a couple of trigger objects which had moved whilst we were there. I caught the hello, which again I'll send to Lindsay, see if she wants to put it up. But in the hello, or I know, or then go, whatever.
Yeah. Are they watching tonight or are they out? Oh no,
they're football tonight.
Football tonight. You said, yeah.
So
send it all to her. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So and then the basement stuff, wasn't it?
You had an experience in the basement as well, if I remember rightly. You kind of sent somebody down there in the corner. What do you want to say about that?
Well, Dave, didn't he? Dave and Rhonda encountered the little boy down there. You said you said hello coming from out the wall, and I said the exact same spot a month to the day you went, and I just was joking with the people I was with and said, what if a hand suddenly come out the wall? And then we didn't hear anything, but when we played it back, it was and I thought, oh, it's one of my friends got a real nasty, snotty cold. And then I heard him talk, and I thought, oh, it's not him then. Sorry, I did say snotty. It's me, I say it is. So that was amazing. And of course the rooms. I mean, I stayed in a lot of the rooms. The Lady Jade Grey room, the Oak Suite.
Yes.
Even a couple of other ones. You know, we could go on and on and on. But I don't know where you actually... So I did the ballot, then you did the new in. Then where did we go from there?
Well, I was just going to say two other things quickly, because Becky said here, Blair said that they're going to do work on the new inn. They were waiting for the sale of the station to go through.
Okay. So, is Becky saying this?
Yes, Becky's saying that.
Okay. Thanks, Bex.
So just, if people are wondering what on earth the hello or then go is that I was with the camcorder, not this one which running through this, but another camcorder. And... I was in the basement. A friend of mine came along, Jason. He said he didn't like it and left. And I said, I'll stay for a bit longer. And after a while, there's one bit was the breath, which you hear, and I'm still talking, so it can't be me. And then later on, I say, I don't like it anymore. And shortly afterwards, you kind of get like a whisper, which I'll see if Lindsay or John can put on the Exploring the Afterlife site, but it kind of goes like, it sounds like hello, because to me it sounds like a H, but Lynn thinks it says then go.
I reckon it says then go.
Yeah, so put that on and do put down what you think it says as well.
Either hello or then go.
Yeah. So let us know what you think. Ziggy, hello to you.
Hello, Ziggy.
Yeah, I hope you're doing good.
Which Ziggy is that?
Ziggy,
Kieran?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Hello, Ziggs.
Yeah.
Hello, darling.
Yeah, lovely. So it's nice to see.
Saw a picture of a doggy the other day.
Yes, it seems like it's up there now as a profile picture, so that's really good.
Yeah.
Julie Vickers, hello to you. So
hello.
You're doing really good. So we're getting lots of lovely people.
Lovely. Share it out. You can always watch it back later.
So I'm trying to think. You're still mic'd up, yeah. If anybody's hearing sound problems, give us a shout as well. So I'm just trying to think where we went then afterwards. So
we must have went down Westgate Street.
So Westgate Street. I remember Pound Stretchers.
Yeah, because we didn't incorporate the tower then, did we?
No, we didn't.
We weren't allowed in there at that time. But
yes, you had.
We got it later.
Well, as it's later, and that would be kind of the path down. Do you want to say a little bit about the tower?
Oh yeah, the St Michael's Tower used to be St Michael's Church.
Meeks.
Oh, Meeks, yeah. Why don't you come on in, darling? You can prompt us. There's a little noise at the door. Meeks. Yeah, the tower was the St. Michael's Church, which was demolished about 1971, I think. Don't quote me on it, because it is a while ago. But they left the tower up, thankfully. It's a shame the old church went down, because in the middle of a city, that, you know, as small as a city as ours is, that would have been amazing to see that structure. And again, I've got an old picture of it. Perhaps I can send it to Lindsay and she can put it up and you can see what it was like. So anyway, they left the tower up, and then I helped out with the tower when years ago. People will remember that there was like an archway. You could walk from one end to the other. You could walk from Southgate Street through the arch to Eastgate Street. And then they not blocked it up, but closed the entrance, and they had some different levels of steps going up, which was quite hideous in my opinion. But eventually that middle bit came down and it left the whole tower completely empty, and just a little door that led the steps up to the tower. So after a while, when we asked the council about running it as a civic trust, they said yes. And I always remember we were at the meeting, very formal and all the rest of it, and we were all excited and all this and that. And they said, yes, we're going to let you have that for a pittance. Nothing really. So we went outside and we was going, yeah, cheer, cheer, cheer. And afterwards we realised that they told us that they heard us out. They heard us at the meetings all shouting outside how happy we were to have it. And then after a while, I incorporated it in my ghost walks, where my scarer hid. And he used to hide behind the door that led up to the tower. And people would come in the doorway, and I would talk to them. And all of a sudden, he'd jump out at them with his black coat, black hat and cane. Sadly, he's gone now, Dave. Passed away, but he was good. He was funny, and he would shout out that he either had a mask or white. He did his face white, but after a while, the paint on his face was not helping his skin, so he started wearing a mask. Yeah, and I remember when he frightened this one bloke so much, he just ran out of the tower, pushed his wife over as he was going out the door. She fell on the floor, screaming at him. And he was off down Eastgate Street, never looked back.
Well, I guess he slept in the bathtub that night.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. He was in the doghouse, that's for sure. Yeah. You know, and then there was a couple of other things as well that happened in there. I did actually go up to the top, but it's very steep and steps, old stone steps. It's not stairs, it's old stone steps. And they would go round. And the reason they went round a certain way apparently was for when the soldiers had their pikes or staffs, whatever you call them, could go up easy without bashing against the wall or whatever. And then halfway up or nearly to the top, there was all graffiti drawings, and it was the Scouts. The Scouts had a top room apparently, and they had all like graffiti on the walls and that of tents and whatever. So it was used for various different things. But yeah, it was a great place. And then the Civic Trust run downstairs as a little cafe, come Heritage Centre, for people to look up the videos that they put up. Yeah, so the walks didn't incorporate that at first, but after, as I said, we did, which added to the walk, which would have added another half an hour or so.
Well, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and then we used to go down Westgate Street.
So it was Meeks, wasn't it?
Meeks. I don't know whether you did Meeks or I did Meeks.
I think it must have been, because I think you did the first part, then we went round the corner. And by the way, I just want to say, did anybody hear something then? Because Chris did wonder about a voice. And Moira said, I thought I heard something, Chris. Then Chris, did you... Cowabunga says, Chris, I know that that feeling... Oh, yeah. Sorry, Cowabunga. So I think you used to do Meeks, And then I used to do about Jeffrey J.J. Robinson
that's
around in St. John's Lane. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know Meeks was also a photographs coach. It's on Paranormal 5 as well. Was it actually on with Michaela as well?
No, not that one.
Yeah, but
no.
Paranormal 5.
No, there was a medium there.
Yeah.
And he's the one that said the boy's name was David and he was buried in an unmarked grave. And the unmarked grave was in the St. Mary de Crypt church yard by Cafe Rennie.
Yeah.
So we took him at his word that it was that. We don't know. There's no real evidence of it.
Yeah.
And being an unmarked grave, there's nothing to look up, is there?
No.
But that's what he said. And he was one of these little orphan boys that was used to clean the chimneys.
Yeah.
And he sadly fell to his death, wasn't found until 2 days later. And being an orphan, they never gave them surnames. So it was just David.
Yeah.
And a few people before I did the walks actually told me that they'd seen faces up there. And it looked like a little boy's face. I did actually go up there once, but it was all empty and derelict because it was above the shoe shop, because Meeks was a shoe shop. And then there was another room and then up again, which nobody ever went up. They didn't need to.
Yeah.
But one of the past managers decided to have a bit of fun and put an old mask in the window, if you remember.
Yeah.
He looked like Rasputin, the mad monk. And then he put it in the cupboard up there. So I don't know whether it's still there or what. I don't know. But he was pretending it was this David. And I said, no. And, so he thought that was funny on Halloween to put that up there. But it was very oppressive feeling up there. It really was. As most places are when you've got stories like that. But then again, are they the stories that are giving you that feeling, or are you giving yourself that feeling?
Well,
we don't know, do we?
I remember, and Steve Perry, and
Steve, hiya Steve, that's my nephew.
Oh, hello Steve. I heard it whilst you mentioned clean chimneys, so it might seem like we might have caught maybe it was Mike Russell. We'll see what it's like, but maybe potentially. So I'm realising I have to look over here today. Hello, everybody.
So they think they've heard a noise.
Yeah, I heard.
I'm not surprised because when we talk about things like this, as you know, and as when I'm about, and I don't mean that in a big-headed way or anything, because when I've gone to places and I've spoke to them about their hauntings, they've said to me, not after you left, we got this, we got that. I said, yeah, they know I'm going. They know we're going, you know, and it's weird. But getting back to Steve, I hope Jess is watching. That's his daughter.
And he also said, have you mentioned going through the scene of the new inn yet? So we're kind of skipping back a bit. So we'll finish off Meeks, rewind a bit, talk about you falling through the roof, and then we'll go forward.
Thanks, Paul.
And we'll go forward to Jeffrey J.J. Robinson then. Yeah,
well, Meeks, we were told about, I've never sort of experienced anything there myself, but stories are that up in the storeroom, where if you look from West, I think they're closed now, aren't they? Or they've moved.
They've moved.
Yeah. Well, when it was open in Westgate Street, you could look up it to the building, and as most of those buildings were merchants' houses in the past, but this particular one, when it was Meeks, they had a storeroom on an upper level. And you could see all the boxes in the window stacked up, like shoe boxes and whatever. And a lot of the times when they brought the new stock in, they'd go in the next day and it'd be all over the floor. I mean, not just the lids open, all the, like you have tissues in the boxes for the new shoes and that. Everything was thrown everywhere, almost as somebody was rummaging through it and didn't like this, didn't like that, so just threw it. And they said that this was this person, I think they called her Elsie. I'm not sure, because Elsie was in the bell as well, so I don't think it's the same one. Anyway, this lady, they said that they knew she'd been there because they could smell the old perfume, like lavender or lilac or something they would use years ago. And they think that she was about. And also, one day, the two ladies in the shop said that the door was shut, the front door was shut, but all of a sudden there was a gust of wind that blew a load of envelopes or a pile of envelopes or paperwork on their desk onto the floor. There was no window or windows open behind them, and the door in the front was shut. So that freaked them out. They've also heard teacups teaspoons going around in teacups upstairs, as if somebody had gone up to make a cup of tea. And when they went up, there was nobody there. And apparently they left tea towels flat out with the teacups and teaspoons ready for when they do have a break. And when they'd go up, it's gone. It was all back in the drawer and that. Now that's hard to believe. That really is hard to believe. But apparently they swore that it did happen. And then they went back down, and then they'd hear it again, and this time everything was out again. You know, and we hear about poltergeist moving stuff and whatever, so why not?
Well, I know Kim of sorts. I mean, myself used to see her quite regularly in town, and I felt she was a very trustworthy person.
Oh, Kim, yes, I remember Kim. Well. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. She wouldn't bake it. No. So I mean, there was that. Then they smelt the smoke from St John's Lane with Jeffrey J. So that was quite an amazing place. And there's a beautiful I think it's a ceiling in the upper floors as well, that very ornate, that people wouldn't know about unless you went in there. So that was good. We did, I'm not sure whether it was you, but somebody else did an investigation. I was somewhere else.
That was the time in the new one when you fell through the ceiling.
Oh, was it that time? Yeah. So we did 2 that night then. I knew I didn't do it. And I was somewhere else. So
I mean, the new inn as well was known for the pint moving, which it got on Great British Ghosts. And I'm trying to remember, because you were on TV with Michaela. Was it just the new inn she spoke to you about, or did you go to any other places?
No, it was just she did, but she only spoke to me about the new inn. And then we had the ITV come down, didn't they? Or BBC? No, it wasn't BBC. It was
ITV West.
And then the Italian crew come from Italy. They'd heard all about it. They come down and wanted to do some filming. So it did bring a lot of attention. But as with everything, there was a lot of people doubting that the pint was actually real, or did we fake it? So anybody that wants to watch it, look on YouTube. Look up Lyn Sindri, Gloucester Ghost Walks Lyn Sindri, because that's the one that was shown the most, wasn't it? And my late son, Sean, bless him, he actually put it on YouTube for me, because it says Sean. And you will see the pint going over. And what it was, we were having a quiz night, and most of us that was at the quiz were in the paranormal team. This is why people think we faked it. But there was also 3 or 4 ladies that were either from New Zealand or America or somewhere, and they wanted to do the quiz. So they were sat on the bench, and they were waiting for the quiz. Sean, the quiz master, got a pint of beer and went to the table to put his full pint down and took his empty glass back. And as he went back, you could see him stopping and talking to me, and then he went. And then with that, 4 people that were at the end by the table where the pint was on jumped up, pointed, and said, "Did you see that? Or did you hear that?" Those sort of words. And they said that, and then they looked up at me, and we heard the third, but we didn't see anything. They did. And they literally saw this pint slide over and then flip over onto the old pew from the church that was there then. And it flipped over, and it literally spilled a lot on the floor. Glass didn't break, but everything of the beer come out. Of course, Sean come back and was cursing the ghost because he had to go and get another pint, because he just got his full one.
I hope it was on the house.
I don't know. I can't remember. I think I might have bought him one just to make things all right for him. So a lot of people said we faked it. There was, of course, there was Sam and Mark there, and he was actually starstruck with Michaela. He liked her,
right?
And he was Sam Italia, and he just stood at the bar and he was going like really sort of mesmerized with her. I said about the pint going over, and it was on the cameras, and she eventually showed us, and that's how we saw it. And of course, Michaela said, "Well, how did you actually capture it when you were only having a quiz?" That was another thing people think, oh, that was coincidence. It wasn't, because there was a little camera in the corner that was pointing to where the pint went over, trying to capture an old nanny, the nanny of the 2 children that died in the fire in the 1800s. And they didn't capture her, but they caught that pint.
Yeah.
And although if you look at it time and time again, as I have, it's very pixelated. But if you really look at it and you know what you're looking for, I actually can see somebody actually look at it as if they were pushing it over. So you've got, how can you explain it? Right, you've got the table here, if they can see that.
Yeah, they can see it. Yeah, they can see it. Yeah.
And then there's the pew, the other side. There's a pint on the end. And then you could see somebody go like that. So the pint couldn't have been flicked over that way from there. It was flicked over from the front.
Yeah.
And somebody, well, lots of different reasons, ideas, people said that we had a bit of string and was pulling it. Well, if the pint was coming this way, you could say, yeah. But it didn't. It went that way. And I don't know a bit of string that's going to push a full pint of beer like that, or wire, without it spilling again first. So it literally went like that, a couple of inches, then flicked right over.
I think the trouble with it as well, and it was just coincidence, and you know, there's coincidence all the time. It was, I think John was there, and he just happened to scratch his face, or do something. His hand goes up.
That's
like
it.
That.
He went like that, and they said that was him doing it. Yeah.
So it was just unfortunate. It was just happened to be that time.
Yeah, people are entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't care what they say.
Yeah.
We were there, and I swear it was true.
Yeah.
It was not faked. Why would we fake it? And it really did happen. It frightened the bejesus out of us when we kept watching it back. And then somebody said, well, why didn't you show it when you first went in? So Ghostman, what's his name? Bruce.
Bruce, yeah.
He got the film and he extended it, didn't he?
Yeah.
And so you can actually see the extended version as well when we all went in.
Yeah.
You know, because people were saying you might have gone in and set it up.
Well, people do say that.
Yeah.
Only closed mind certain.
yeah. But I mean, anybody could doubt anything if they're not there. You know, it's easy to doubt.
Absolutely.
Or second guess or whatever. But I'm very adamant and will swear to my dying day that wasn't faked.
Yeah, I know it wasn't.
No.
Let me just read a couple of people. So there's Mimi. Hope she hasn't missed too much. No. Carol Baldwin, hello to you.
Oh, hiya, Carol.
Diana O'Brien, hello to you. Paul Hoskins.
Hiya, Paul.
I think there's a question here, actually. Good evening to you both. I had a similar thing with a drink moving on an empty table at the Doggett Over. Staff made a joke the resident ghost was playing up. What's this one? My late granddad did that. My cousin my late granddad. So I think that might be. Sorry, I do apologize. That was a question. That might have been answering somebody else after.
Oh right,
So we'll see if we can have time because to go back to the falling through the roof, but there's also other places be nice to go to. Well.
Do you want the falling? Yeah.
Oh well, yes. We've got time for it. Yeah.
All right. I'll quickly just say that there was 20 people. I was showing them around. It was a paranormal night. I was showing them around, and then they all separated into different rooms. And I took a party up into an area where nobody goes normally. And I got the master key, and it was up in one of the old attics. And there was you go up some wooden stairs, and there was a turning left and a turning right. So I said, well, go up there, but look around, but be careful. Because on the left, they had the flooring. On the right, they didn't. They just had the beams. And they were sort of exposed or whatever. So I said, be careful. So they were all careful. They all went. They all had a look. And they come down fascinated. And the old door up there and everything. And I said, oh, I'm going to have a look now then. So I go up. And within seconds of me going up there, I suddenly fell over with my one leg falling through the ceiling or the floor, and my other leg still in the attic. And of course, they made an almighty crash, which everybody come out their rooms and said, oh my God, who's hurt? Somebody's hurt. What's happened? And by the time the two ladies that were with me had stopped laughing, which I was a bit annoyed about, they tried to help me up. But mine was literally wedged. So while I was there, as you do, I shone my torch down. And idiot me said, oh my God, we've found a secret room. It's all dusty, it's dirty, there's cobwebs. I said, the wallpaper or whatever it is terrible. You can hardly see anything. It's really nasty under there. And they just looked and laughed and said, Lyn, that is not a secret room. Your foot has gone through somebody's bedroom. I went, what? No way. And they said, yeah, I think it was 208 or 218. I'm not sure. But I'm like, oh my God. So I said, well, you better go and get Penny was the manager.
Yes,
said.
Penny. That's the one who had the phone at her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. I know it was Penny.
Hi, Steve Perry.
Hiya, Steve. So they finally got me up. And I said, you better go and tell Penny. And she come up and she said, what's happened? I said, well, you're going to probably ban me. I'm so sorry. I said, everybody was fine. It was me that went through the ceiling. And she said, are you all right? I said, well, yeah. I said, well, I literally put my foot through it, hadn't I? And, so I expected her to ban me and say, you're not coming up here anymore. And all she did was burst out laughing, the same as the others. But didn't I have a whacking bruise on my knee and leg after? But so we went down into the bedroom. Luckily, there was nobody there. I mean, you can imagine if somebody had been there. Did the earth move for you? Yes, and the ceiling. So we went in and there was a great big blooming hole in the ceiling. And all the wattle and daub, 600 years of wattle and daub was coming through. All the dust and cobwebs and all the rest of it. And I just missed the telly as I was going through. And the bed was covered. The room was like a foggy day. It was absolutely caked with dust and dirt and all the rest of it. And all over the floor and everything. Oh my God, we were so glad that nobody was in there. And when I saw the cleaners, they cursed me because I gave them extra cleaning to do. And it really was a lot of cleaning to get that up together. And then 2 weeks later, Penny said, oh, don't worry about it. I'll tell them that it was an electrician and it happened to him. So 2 weeks later, I come in, got into the courtyard. And there she is, holding up the keys. Do you want to go up in the attic, Lyn? And I just said to her, piss off. Sorry, everyone, but, and everybody just laughed. And that must have been over 20 years ago. And I still get wriggled. What's the word?
Your leg pulled.
Yeah, still get me leg pulled about it. They're never going to forget it.
No,
never going to forget it.
I
won't.
Yeah. Must say hello to Charles Rudd. Hello to you. Betty Nicole. Hello to you. And
sounds like we got a few on there.
Yeah, so it's nice. It is nice.
Lovely to see you. See you. Lovely for you all to be on. It's great.
Yeah. So glad they found it funny because it needed repairing. It might have needed repairing. So. Oh yeah,
it did need repairing. I mean, I went to see it afterwards, and you could see the outline of where the hole was. But I was so embarrassed. I really thought I was going to get banned, but that was
Luckily,
fine.
You didn't.
Yeah. She just found the funny side of it. Thank goodness. But I'm never going to live that down.
So moving on, we kind of then we're going all over the place. It's kind of like a slightly drunken walk, I think.
Yeah.
But it was the St John's Lane then afterwards.
Which you did Jeffrey JJ.
Which had the citizens' office there, and I remembered that people used to go down that alleyway any time of the day and would smell cigar smoke. And it was often thought that it could be Jeffrey J.J. Robinson, who was, I think, the boss.
He was the editor.
Found editor, maybe found or
something. Oh, yeah, might have been. I thought he was,
Yeah.
He worked there anyway.
He worked there, yes. And he was known for smoking his cigars.
Yeah, going into work and coming home, coming out.
And it was at that point round the back where we would say about the face in the window, which may have been the mask, or I think people know what a mask looks like, so probably something else.
Well, people describe him. I mean, Darren Thompson, he took a picture of it and he captured it, and there was a few like him that said they could actually see his face, and they said that you could see his little face and his hair. I think it was fair hair, and it really did look like a young boy, but I don't think I ever saw him, only from pictures or like photos that Darren took. But and the story and everything, and there's more than one people that said they seen it. But just because I didn't, doesn't mean say it wasn't true,
Well,
does
no,
it?
absolutely.
That's,
So let's see. Jules Denise Glover Hook is here. So hello to
Hiya,
you.
Jules. Yeah.
What's that? I would love to experience that with you, Nanny Lyn. So it's with an M. Yeah. Buttons are too close to each other on phones and things, aren't they?
I mean, we had some great time, but I just had to give it up because of ill health. I mean, you can't have a guy who keeps sitting down because her legs and her back hurt. So I had to give it up. But I enjoyed it 14 years, and we enjoyed it our first year, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then Sean and Dave was, and the other Dave and Tracy helped me out as well. Nikki helped me out. There's a few people that helped me out when I couldn't get anybody, and even Joe the Hat.
Yes.
With Kathy Rennie.
Yeah.
He said he'd never go down there again.
No, yeah. So we're coming to that one.
Yeah.
But I think, was it Pound Stretcher then after?
After Meeks, it was Pound Stretcher. Or it might have been the alley.
The alley.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Pinch Belly Alley was on the way back up from Bishop Hooper's monument.
It might have been. Yeah.
But I remember, I think it was Pound Stretcher. I know there used to be a letter E in mould.
That's it.
And I believe it was an actress who had an
Eliza Johnson.
I think she was pregnant or something. Wasn't
she fell in love with one of the actors and he rebuffed her. So she was so distraught that she actually hung herself.
Yeah. And this E kept reappearing in the basement.
This E, and nobody could scrub it off.
Yeah.
And the then manageress told me about it, wanted us to do an investigation there. But their bosses said no, they wouldn't let us. But the main thing
on the news.
I was going to say the main thing as well was the BBC got a hold of the news, and it was a footage of their camera in the shop where there was a pallet of stock right by the front doors. Now the front doors were glass doors, weren't they? And you could see the pallet of stock. And there seemed like a Victorian lady coming around the back of the stock, of the piles, and literally pushed over all the stock. Now, if that had been a human, or human, there's no way you would be able to push 5, 6, 7 stories high of pallets full of stock, wrapped tightly still around with cellophane. I know that because I worked at Cash and Carry and I would do that packing or unpack it. So I know you cannot push that over like that. Yeah. And she just went like that and the whole lot went all over the floor. And then the BBC got it. They even dotted around her figure. And I think that's on YouTube as well. If you look up Ghost in the Shop.
Yes, so chances Eliza was actually pregnant, hence why she hung herself. So she hung herself. So very, very sad.
Yeah.
And you can actually see on the side of Pound Stretcher where you can tell it was a theatre at once. It's just a little tiny bit of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a nice picture of when it was the theatre. It was called the Theatre Royal.
Yes.
And that was an amazing place. And of course, the orchestra was underneath in the pit, the orchestra pit. Now, outside in the street, you would have had the theatre, which was then Pound Stretcher. Next door to it, right next door to it, would have been the pit entrance where the orchestra and that went down. So they had a different entrance and then down and around. Yeah. And when we did an investigation, well, we wasn't supposed to, but we had a quick look.
Right. Yeah. Unofficially, yeah.
At the very back of the building, in the shop, there's a door, and somebody wouldn't have been me, but somebody went down a trap door, and they found like a tunnel underneath. Oh, amazing. But it was still, it was partly blocked off, but it would have been a big tunnel, and that would have been part of the theatre and the pit. Yes. For the orchestra. So, and then if you go round another part of the building where the E was, it was like a corridor, that would have been all part of the theatre as well. But sadly, this video came to light and it was shown, but their bosses wanted us to destroy the video and not do an investigation. But not before my friend gave me the video, or a copy of the video. Yeah. That's how it came to light.
I mean, it's such a shame because that is really good evidence of something like that happening.
Absolutely.
They just want to destroy it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what time. I'm not sure whether it was early morning or what, but the shop was shut.
Yeah, I think it's
when it happened.
Yeah, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, something like that. I think.
So again, look on YouTube. If you need any help finding it, let me or Paul know. We'll direct you into the right area, because that's so much history, so much evidence gone.
Yes, absolutely.
And today they would have believed it more than they would have done when we first done it. That's why we had a lot of ridicule with the new in.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are more skeptical. Well, there's a lot skeptical. There's a lot of believers now.
Yeah.
But you've got to. There is some people out there that would fake it. But if you know the people and you know the person that you're with and you trust them, but some of them are just here for this, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, we had a lot of encounters everywhere, didn't we? Even Bull Lane, Pinchbelly Alley, Woodchester Mansion. Oh my God, we've been about, haven't we? Dick Whittington. We've been about, Paul.
Absolutely. So Charles Rudd says, "I really like your honesty, Nanny Lyn." Looks like there's. I hope this is a question because I pulled it up. My daughter and I were in Pound Stretcher. We walked up the aisle. All of a sudden, we heard something, and a load of loo rolls had just flown off the shelf onto the floor. We were the only ones in the aisle. So wow.
Yeah, well, Eliza used to do that, and also the towels. She loved the aisle where all the tea towels and towels were, because they said my friend said that they used to fold them up at night, tidy everything else up for the shop, ready to open the next day, tidy it all up, and the towels be on the floor in the morning.
Yeah.
So she was in there having a good old rummage again. It's almost like an anger thing coming out where they do these sort of things, or a recognition. I am here. I don't know, but they were all thrown out, just like Elsie was in Meeks with the shoes. They do want their attention, I think, or at least their story told.
Yes, exactly.
So but as I said before, you believe it or you don't believe it, but. When we went through it, we just went through it normally, didn't we? But when we piece it together and we do talks like this, or I wrote in my book, it's a bloody lot, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. just a little plug again. So the wonderful Nanny Lyn's 2 books, Paranormal Gloucester, Gloucester Ghosts and Giggles. So
if anybody does buy those on Amazon and they want it signed, what I've done, somebody suggested this, and I thought it was a damn good idea. What I've done, they would buy the book, right? And I would ask them for their address, and these little sticky labels,
post-it notes sort of thing. Yeah.
No, not the post-it, the white sticky
labels. I
would sign it, then they just put it in the book, and it's signed then, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I thought somebody suggested that. I thought, what a blooming good idea. So I've sold quite a few books that way.
Yes.
Because you can't obviously send it off to American. Well, come here and I'll sign it, whatever.
Yeah.
Or even the other side of this country. So that was a blooming good idea that whoever was suggested it, and that's the way to get around it, that it's signed. If they want it signed, if they don't,
I'm sure who wouldn't want it signed. Mine are signed. Let's just see. Betty said it's Lorna. Oh, Facebook playing up again. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Lorna. Sorry, Lorna. So yeah, we'll refer to.
Is there anybody on YouTube?
Yes, there's people on YouTube as well, but I think that Lorna has, because I keep calling her Betty every time I see her on.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, because it says Betty up there.
Is there any questions or anything?
So we got wonder if it was light item she went for, as that is what her energy could move. I think.
Oh, that's a point. That is a good point.
Well, with the toilet
rolls,
but with the packing, that was heavy.
Oh
so
I see. Yeah, the toilet rolls and the towel was making a mess. Yeah, but the stock, that would have been very hard to do.
Yes,
very hard.
Yeah,
it would take at least 2 or even 3 people to actually do that. But I mean, you could see the way it all fell. It was almost as if it hadn't been wrapped.
Yes,
and it was just pushed. But even if it was just pushed and not wrapped, it's still a lot to fall on the floor for one person. And she sort of just comes out like, what you see in a horror film, they creep out. It is really creepy, spooky looking part. I'm going to have to watch that again when I get home.
But absolutely.
It is fascinating. It really is.
Bon says Facebook fine for me. I sometimes I find that I have moments where Facebook plays up as well. It just seems to go a bit weird.
Yeah.
Then from there, I believe we went down past the Beatrix Potter shop to the cathedral, didn't we? I think we did a couple of stories
we
there.
went round by the cathedral. We spoke about just past the arches. If you turn immediately left, there was something about a lady that worked in the offices there, and her boss asked her to go and retrieve some paperwork from downstairs, and she did, and she come up quite white. There was a lady down there in a rocking chair. And yeah.
I was going to say that's where Scara jumped out in front of the Dean of Gloucester Cathedral. Which
that was the arch. That was the infirmary arches.
Oh,
yeah, the Beatrice Potter's arches is in College Green or whatever, and the arches was the infirmary arches is at the back of the cathedral by the King's School.
Okay,
yeah. So that's where they got jumped out. Yeah, I got told off.
The other thing I remember, it was Eddie Grieswood, is it? Becky's should know.
Yeah.
He was in the cloisters of the cathedral and suddenly felt like he was being strangled. Which is quite
he did a radio
unusual.
program. I think your mum talked about him first.
Yeah, Down Your Way it was.
That's it. Yeah,
and,
I'm sure it was your mum who said about him.
Yeah, and we had it into the Ghost Walk. And, he was there, and I think years later he left and didn't broadcast from the cloisters. And thought, I'm going to look round, and started getting the same feelings again, which is quite unusual for a place of peace, basically, to get those sorts of feelings.
Yeah, because when he was there and they were doing this radio show, his crew thought he was messing about, and he wasn't. But when he went back, and the same thing happened again, and apparently both times was at the same area, and it was something to do with the military or the war effort, or civil war or something. So whether the theory is that perhaps the spirit or ghost, whatever you want to call it, Eddie reminded him of this person or what? Yes. Who knows? But it happened to him twice.
Yeah.
I don't know whether he's still with us, but
no.
Yeah. But so he went back, and he just couldn't go in there again.
No.
Every time he, as I said, he went in there, he got not attacked, but not far off it. It was very unpleasant for him.
Well, I think some people thought he was going to attack because he was kind of like holding onto his neck. And
that's it. As if he was being strangled, wasn't it?
That was it, yeah. But talking about the military room, which I've forgotten, they used to employ military men because they used to have like the markets there, and it was to stop kids from messing about. That was one of the reasons why, which we'll say about Pinchbelly Alley later anyway.
Water in here, by the way. Water.
Yes, so I've given Lynn one of my my Moscow Mule mugs with water in.
Nice. They're nice mugs.
Yeah, I like using them. So yes, everybody, it is water. It's always been water.
I don't drink anymore. Coffee, water, Coke.
And then after I think from that point, it was down to Bishop Hooper's monument, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Which was my story. And I'd always used to ask people. I used to get permission beforehand. I said, do you want the
gory
nice,
bit,
gory one, or just the nicer story? And apart from once, somebody said they wanted the non-gory one, and I thought, do I do what now then? But Bishop Hooper was burnt at the stake, and the stake ended up being in a folk museum.
The base of it that was in the ground,
because of his beliefs. And he was on the being burnt, and in the end he couldn't speak because his tongue was swollen up so much, so he was knocking with his arm until that came off, unfortunately. But the story there is that there was a face looking out of the window, which I think might have been Bloody Mary, come down
so
to
they
see
say
it.
Make sure that he was actually executed as she wanted. I do remember some choir boys from America that changed in those rooms for the cathedral, and they said they didn't like it in there. The one boy particularly said he didn't like it in there, and they actually spoke to them personally, and it was a very eerie feeling in there. And if you look to the right of that building and the other building that's sort of on the lean, it's so old, you could see actually burn marks or singe marks, because the fire must have been, it wasn't that far away, but and there were so many thousand people watching.
And the poor young boy was also burnt. At
Apparently,
the stake as well.
that story. Yeah, I don't know who told it me, but they had to dig deep for it. He was a boy or orphan boy,
blind boy, I think.
Yeah, and he loved the bishop that much. He asked to be burnt with him, and they said no, but he did anyway. But we're not 100% sure whether that was true because I can't find anything.
No, it's in a few books.
It
might
be. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, so it's going back to everything, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's been so long.
Yeah. So we got here. Julie says, I worked at the cathedral for 12 years, used to clean the educational centre by St Mary. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Excellent. Becky's here. It's still at the Folk Museum. He's got the whole cabinet to himself now.
Yeah.
And I've caught the face looking out of the window in September. Brilliant. Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I think after that, there was a little church we used to say something about. Wasn't it about a wind coming down? I really can't remember much about that one.
Yeah, that is St Mary de Lode. That's at the back of, say back or front, Archdeacon Street. And it's, they got the church and then the bishop who goes down the arches, haven't they? So it's all sort of connected. But the story is like Christmas or Christmas Eve. The congregation always had like the same priest, and he was doing the Christmas service and all the rest of it. But he very much wanted to go to Rome, to be a pilgrim, to go to Rome, and he did. And the ship sunk, or he perished out in the sea. But he was so adamant that he'd still do the service that they said that on Christmas Eve, the doors would fly open and a gust of wind would go in. And they said that it was him coming back to do the service. I can't remember any more of it than that. I think that might have been it. But that happened. I honestly don't think it happens now, but I don't know how many times it happened, but I know that it was recorded that it did happen, and they reckoned it was him coming back.
Yes.
Because he kept a promise to say, I'll be back for Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And he did.
13th century church, is it?
Something like that, yeah.
Becky knows now, so if you're wrong, Becky, please correct us.
I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's older than the cathedral. I think. And there's also a mosaic flooring underneath.
See, I don't think I've ever been in there. I have to go in there.
I have been in there once or twice. I went in there with Pam Tracy and some counsellors, and I can't remember what it was for. It was some sort of service or whatever, because I always remember Pam, when she started speaking, she said, oh, we've even got the ghost lady here tonight. They sort of looked round and laughed, because a lot of the people, counsellors and that, they thought I was a joke, you know. Yeah, they didn't take me so serious, and they would laugh at some of the things that I suggested, and I thought, yeah, well, you know,
they should have come on a night's investigation and see if they changed their minds.
Yeah, exactly.
Anne Toddington, Lucas says, brilliant night, both interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne.
What's that?
I recognise the names when you say them, for people that have followed us or have commented on something else. So it's lovely to have you all on and watching it. Yeah, and share it. And
so here we've got, I love the picture you have of the fireplace.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll see if I can, there it is. Yeah, I'll get back up again if anyone wants to see. Sorry, I've got so much lights in here. So that's the bell. See if I can
is
send
it in my book?
It might be. Probably more, because I took this one. It
wouldn't be declared.
Yeah, good.
I'm sure it is.
And then after that, we used to have a quick mention of the as I'm going. So there's Meeks. Some of the places that we've mentioned. So there's AJ Meeks there. There we go. As it was then. Also as well, the pin factory used to be at the folk museum as well. And, you get like the little pins going around.
Yeah, we went to my friend Carol and I went there the other week to have a little bit of a tour, and he went up into the pin factory and said about the pins that had been found underneath and that. Yeah, and through underneath the floorboards. It's all A to Z. What was
the bell? Yeah,
the bell would be under B then.
Yeah, I must have gone past it. I can't see it in here.
It might have been the bell.
Oh, right. Well,
it's on A to Z format in the front. So
yeah, Ball Lane is there.
Yeah.
Did we ever talk about? We did talk about Bookends, which is down Westgate Street, which we missed.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
I remember. It was. I mean, you got a voice there. You actually also as well, which is a story we don't usually mention. I remember a rash came up around your neck. It looked like it had been grabbed at one point.
What, down Bookends?
Bookends, just
was it?
Yeah, there's a photograph taken of.
Oh, Christ! Oh, blimey heck! I forgot that one.
But yeah, you had there was an EVP, and what was very bizarre about it is the EVP. So I'm missing people, was actually slower, and if it was the batteries going, it wouldn't work that way.
No.
Actually, we had to speed up the recording to actually hear it, which is quite good. So
don't worry, Paul. It might not be in there.
Yeah. Kelly and I have big plans for the folk, so that's really good.
Yeah. Who's Kelly and I? Bex and Kelly?
Oh, actually, sorry, she meant this fireplace. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah. It's keeping us nice and warm. Thank you.
Yeah, we do intend to do some of it at the folk and go down in the cellar.
Brilliant. I'll see if it's in your other book as well. But I couldn't show it up anyway. So Alex is lovely. She's no manager of
oh, sorry, you're on the way here.
And then we should talk about Dick Whittington then as well.
Oh, so my God, there's another place, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, Struth.
I mean, I remember that the main story is there, which is one going around for ages. It was basically a serving lady that just caught cholera, and basically just the family that left.
Yeah, the young
left
girl
her in there to die. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually the basement Black Cat Bar.
Yeah.
At the back is where they say.
Yeah, they're doing some up there now. I think somebody said they're doing flats, but apartments in it. Then obviously they're going to leave the building up, but they're going to do it as apartments or flats inside. I don't know.
I remember it used to be one of the places to go at one point, the Black Cat.
Oh yeah, when the Kennel Club was open, Casey's.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, dance around your handbag.
Casey's was always Casey's. When it became the Key Club, he was calling it Casey's as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we both got wedged in the door leaving that one, which was quite funny because we both got spooked at the same time as we were leaving.
Yeah, we had a good night, didn't we? Then it went quiet. Then it picked up again just as we were thinking of going. And then most people went. And then in the end, it was just me and you, wasn't it?
Yes.
And I said to you, we went the back way because the pub was shut. I mean, it's 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And there's glass doors there with the bar that you've got to push, in it. And we were just going to go through there to go out. And I said to you, stop, Paul. Let's wipe our feet because there's been so much energy here tonight. Let's wipe our feet, leave the energies here. We don't want to take them home with us. So we did that on this rough mat that was there, foot mat or whatever. And then just as we were both going to go to open the door, we both heard in our head. Now, again, is people going to believe this or not? I don't care, because you said and I said at the same time, we both heard in our heads, you're not going, are you?
Something like that. Yeah.
That's exactly that. You're not going, are you?
Yeah.
And then I can't explain it. To talk about it now is unbelievable, but I know it happened. And we just bolted through that door that fast. Yeah. We wedged ourselves into the bloody door, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we couldn't get out. There was you and me going like this, getting out. And then we finally got out, slammed the doors, run up the pathway and up into the street where Grumpy was waiting for us. And he said, what's wrong with you two then? Because I don't know whether we were laughing or screaming or both. I don't know.
Yeah.
And we just said that, well, we've just been spoken to and said you're not going by a ghost. Yeah. And he said, well, that's what you went for, innit?
Yes.
So we could have laughed again then.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget that, because it was so weird. It was so spooky because everybody had gone home. Whoever ran it had gone to bed. They just said, just slam the door when you go.
Absolutely.
And then that happened. So I thought, bloody hell.
It was the first floor. So for the American people, that's second floor. So the first floor,
Yeah.
ground floor, and then first floor.
Right, yeah.
You heard what sounded like a party going on. You actually thought they were in there.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, on the stairs. There's on the like a landing, in it. There was the kitchen, and then the stairs going up to where they lived. And I was nosy, and I thought I'll go up and see what's happening up there. And I heard these like very low whispering type voices, or low, not whispering but low, and like chinking of glasses if they was doing a toast. And I got so far, and I thought, oh no, I better not go, because if they come out and they see me, they'll say, what are you doing up here? That it's private. So I chickened out and come back down. And I thought, oh, blooming heck, what? I better not. So as I was coming back down, there was a hell of a knock on those same glass doors that me and you tried to get through. And it was the landlord and his wife and their kids. And the kids they was holding because they was asleep. It was late, and we went down and opened the door for them, and they said, I said, we didn't realise you'd gone out. He said, yeah, we left you to it. We've been out and come back now and let us in. We're going to get the kids to bed and all the rest of it.
We could have the whiskey for all we knew.
We said, bloody hell, we've had a whole pub to ourselves. Didn't even know it.
Yeah,
that's how much they trusted us.
Yes.
So because I used to say to people, didn't I? Anybody pinch anything, I'll cut your bloody hands off, because it's my reputation and we won't be allowed back in. I was a right old...
Well, no, I mean, it was protecting yourself and also the owners, you know.
So anyway, they come in, went on up to bed, and I forgot what I was going to say.
So they came in, you know, later, the people that were there. And you heard
I said to them, I said, I thought you were upstairs. I didn't know you'd gone out, because it sounded like somebody was having a party up there. We could hear voices, and we could hear chinking of glasses as if somebody was saying cheers. And he looked at me and grinned and said, oh, you've heard it as well, have you? And I went, what? He said, we've heard that as well, many times. And we think it was still John Taylor, who used to own it and always ran dinner parties up there. That was where he lived.
Yeah.
And he would always ask people with money and bankers and stuff like that, because he was very, very money orientated. So he would wine and dine them to get their money and all the rest of it. And we reckon that was him. And he's the one that knew about his servant girl. And she was locked downstairs, literally dying of the plague. Now, I'm not 100% sure whether some had already died or some already had the symptoms.
I think somebody else had.
Yeah, somebody found out about the girl, or so obviously somebody must have blabbed, and they bricked up the banned him from being a counsellor, or alderman as it was then.
Yes,
today's modern phrase is counsellor.
Yeah.
Fined him £100, which in those days was a lot of money. Banned him from being counsellor, bricked up the place, and but they didn't know. No, 1 minute. They didn't know, unbeknownst to them, they didn't know that girl was there. That was it, until they was told, and it was all done.
Yeah,
so she's the one that people have heard, ladies have heard, in what is now the ladies' toilets, but then it was the cellar.
Yeah.
And they've heard her crying, and a lot of women that went to there and then to Casey's always remember they went there first before they went to Casey's, and they didn't like it. And next to the ladies was the gents, and we know that when we did an investigation, we did a clairvoyant one night. One of the young lads went in there and he come out feeling sick, and he was literally sick. And then we had one of our mediums who was sick, Rita, and she went all the way home from there to the forest, had to stop at every lay-by, and was throwing up.
Wow.
And it wasn't until she got home, and it wasn't until he got home, they were both okay. Yeah. And they'd both been in that area.
Yeah.
So that's an amazing place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then John Taylor, all dark, cloaked and everything, has been seen walking up and down behind the bar, apparently. So
because as well, also people were wondering why would they have food on the first floor, because now it tends to be the ground floor is where the dining happens.
Yeah.
But quite often, I'm not sure the exact year when this happened, but it would be the first floor that they would be having the dining. So,
yeah.
Good place. And we had a assistant follow us around on one of the investigations that knew in the first one as well. So.
Oh, that's it. We had Kim, wasn't it? She recorded it. Oh, the bloke. I know we had Kim there once.
Oh, right, okay.
When we done an investigation.
Maybe that was another.
There might have been another bloke. I don't know.
Is that Kim Horton?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, she's lovely.
She is lovely. Yes.
She's always said our stories and backed us up and everything. Yeah, no, absolutely. Good,
yeah. No, I've had a couple of dealings.
So is everybody all right, or we boring them?
It's all good. We've got about 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
Carol Vickers is here. Hello, Carol.
Hey, Carol.
And also as well, So Antonson says you've both got lovely memories. Thank you. I think it was from that point that we went up. And it was Pinch Belly Alley, was it next? Which they got the stone, which is shaved off now, but you would have literally had to pinch your belly.
Yeah, it's still there. It would have went from one end of the alleyway to the one wall to the other, wouldn't it?
Yes.
But they trimmed it down, so there was only a little bit left out.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, it looks a bit like it would have been a step, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And they left it out. And that's the 10th century medieval alley, still in existence today. Very long, very narrow. And then, of course, the building of the pound shops or whatever it was called. What was it? They must have put them in afterwards because you had like those alcoves, didn't you, along the alley? Because only the first bit from Westgate Street, it partially down Pinch Belly Alley or what's it called? Mercer's Entry now. And that was because of the Masons. They were down, I think they were down Eastgate Street, then they moved them to Westgate Street or by the Cross Keys. Anyway, that's where their lodge is. So it's only the first bit that was like the old bit, and you could literally see where the brick bows out, where it's so old, and some of it's crumbling. And the reason they say they put that stone in was to stop any invading armies rushing through or any loose cattle rushing through into Westgate Street. And they literally had to pinch their bellies to get through. Now they can do it all right because they've cut it right down. But also it was also called Prostitute Alley at one point. There was obviously, for obvious reasons, there was prostitutes, and they would meet the clients, if you like, down there. And some people said that they felt like cobwebs on their eyes and everything when they went down there, which is, we know, like it's a spirit energy. And I used to joke and say, ladies, hold on to your men down here, you know, whatever. And that's where our scarers used to jump in the alcove and jump out at people. So it's a very old, spooky type alley. Lots of history.
Because it was John the Hat guy, was it? Was it Kenny?
John the Hat.
John the Hat, yeah.
No, sorry.
Kenny.
Joe.
Joe the Hat, that's it. Yeah, we got there in the end.
Yeah, we did.
So I'll just come back to it. But really enjoying this evening. Lovely natural chat and reminiscing. Thank you. Then no Nanny Lyn, Sindri, you're not boring us. So interesting. Ball Lane, right. Sorry, Bell Lane, Ball Lane, right. So it's Ball Lane, that's where Joe used to jump out from, wasn't it?
No, he jumped out from the Pinch Belly Alley.
Right, so that's Ball Lane, isn't it? Pinch Belly Alley.
Pinch Belly Alley was Mercer's Entry.
Right.
The Ball Lane was different.
Yes.
That was another lane.
Right.
That was the Butcher's Lane, and that was where we did that investigation when
the sound that made me jump out
the piano.
Seat. Yes.
Yeah. What was his name?
Mouse.
That's it.
Yes.
Mouse and Sarah.
Yes.
Yeah. They run it. And it was only very tiny. It's called Angie's Bar now. With Fred. Bless him. Saw him yesterday or the day before. They said about there was a piano playing and they could keep hearing this piano playing. There's no piano in that building. There was no piano next door. It was semi-detached away from there anyway. And opposite there was a building, but that was all closed and nothing there. And then they also said that they had a camera on the little bar looking up into the upstairs room. All very tiny, mind. And the only way up was the stairs from the bar up into this room. Oh, excuse me. And he saw on his camera, on his television thing, there was a man sat upstairs. And he was by the fireplace there, but nobody else was up there. And more importantly, how did he get up there without them knowing? Because he said he didn't see anybody come in. He didn't see him go, for that matter, but he was sat up there. So they said that's why they wanted it looked into. So we went. I think there was only about half a dozen of us, wasn't there?
Something like that,
yeah. It was us and Toss and Ross.
Bruce.
Bruce, yeah.
He could smell cattle there.
Sorry?
You could smell cattle.
Yeah. It was, we went up there, didn't we? And I think it was Ross or somebody used an EMF meter and detected a high energy rating by the fireplace where that man had sat.
Yes,
where
also
that man.
the
window,
a compass that kept spinning.
Oh yeah,
around there as well.
Yeah. And then we sat down. We had 4 cameras, didn't we? In each corner of the room.
Yes. And
then about 2 o'clock in the morning, we were sat talking, and we just heard boom, boom, boom. And you said it was, or they said it was the window.
Yeah, it sounded wooden to me.
Yeah, and something had fallen off something. So we had a look. There was nothing that had fallen we could see. The windows was too tight to open because they hadn't been open for years. So that wasn't the window.
No, but it was the sound of it, I thought. Yeah.
But it was the sound of it. Yeah, it did very much sound like it. So my suggestion was, which is still in doubt, that used to be a butcher shop. And to me, it sounded like a butcher chopping the head off a pig or whatever onto a wooden block, and then the head falling on the floor going boom, boom. And that's what it sounded to me. You all laughed at me and said, no, it was this.
Laugh.
No, well, you teased me. You teased me and said, no, blah, blah, blah.
I'd never tease you.
Yes, you did. You bloody well did. And I said, well, I don't care. I'm telling my story because it's more spooky than your story. And that's what we stuck to.
Bruce thinks it's the sound of a drawer being shut as well.
Yeah, he did.
And something rocking. So that was his sort of intro. But I remember it certainly made me fly out the chair.
Yeah,
when it happened.
Yes, I think we all did.
Yeah.
I think we went not long after that.
Yeah, I think it was.
It was winding up anyway, wasn't it?
Winding up anyway, and we were talking about just beforehand that we have to look back of hours and hours of nothing happening, and that happened.
Yeah. And how many times does that happen? Just as we're going?
Yes.
Age concern.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
We were just going.
Yeah.
And you and somebody else saw a woman.
Yeah.
Slam the door, run through a corridor, which the corridor isn't there now, but it was years ago.
Yeah.
It was an alleyway out into the street.
Yeah.
See, so that's another thing.
Yeah. And all the cameras packed away by that point.
Yeah.
Becky said something, so I was going to read this one out. Had a group from the Building Society next to Pinchbelly. Yes, we actually, same Building Society that I use, and wonderful people. They said how good it was. They hate working in the shop. One of them is being called by name after number pad on safe goes off. It goes off on its own. And they watched the pad being pressed by someone, but no one's there. Had people walk through and shadows follow them down. So next time I need to go to the Building Society, I will certainly ask.
I'm almost sure when I went in there, or they recognised me, they said there was something in there then, and they wanted it investigated, but they weren't sure because it was a bank. Also, there was the Cobbly shop? The
Nobly Cobb. Yeah,
they wanted me to go in there as well, and I never got round to them.
Well, there's still time, isn't there?
No, not at my age now.
Oh, there's always time.
Yeah, so they wanted me to go in there as well. They also wanted me to go in that snooker place in end of Lady Belgate Street.
Oh,
but they're closed now.
That's gone now, isn't it?
That's
yeah,
closed now.
It's a real shame that it's.
They wanted me to go in there.
Well, I don't think anything happening there.
No,
actually, I used to play snooker there.
Yeah,
yeah. Just,
there's loads of places that said you need to come in.
Yeah,
I never got round to it.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Barbara, spiritual medium, Nanny Lyn, is so descriptive. One can imagine it actually being there.
Yeah,
I think Mum kind of agrees with me as well, with it being more wooden sound than squelchy sounding. But what I'll try and do is I'll put a link to it so people can have a look and put what your opinions are of it and things. And then, was it to Cafe Rennie then afterwards? I think it was.
I think we always ended up at Cafe Rennie.
Yes.
Then after a while, I started there.
Right.
But we always ended there then because we went down in the cellar.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So we used to go in, talk about the well, then go downstairs, and then into the what they call the what was it, Deep Six. People said, why do they call it Deep Six? Because it's 6 foot underground or more, isn't it? And we used to go under there, and there was like absolute tons of rubbish as you open the door. Staff hated going down there, and all they did was dump more rubbish down there and go. Not the public never went down there. And then there was further down was a bit of a drop and like stone pillars. And I did ask an architect that was on the walk once, and he said that's just how they built them years ago. And I said, well, why leave a massive space under here like that? And I always said to Paul, bless him, why didn't you just shove all that stuff in there? He said, yeah, but if they ever come here and they wanted to get there or whatever, he said I'd have to take it all out again.
Yeah.
But anyway, then as you go round, you go down through the room, and then you go up a little slope, if you remember, turn left, and there was all these brick cubicles. And they had like W1, W2, W19, 20, and so on the other side.
Yeah.
And it was very clear there then. We could get in, we could hide in there, we could, investigate properly in there. Over time, we couldn't get in there at all. And then there was a little bit of an archway and a little alcove behind the base of the stairs. And then as you goes up the stone steps, that went into Addison's Folly. So all around there was very, very spooky. And those stone cubicles, we were told that they used to belong to a secret underground World War II bunker used by MI5 in World War II. And that's why they were numbered. And possibly lots of documents and everything was in there. And they might have even had radio people in there, whatever. Because then it was bricked up for a long time. And when, I'm not sure whether it was before Paul had it. I think it was before Paul had it. It might have been when he had it. I'm not sure. They opened it all up and they found all these documents.
Yes.
So, of course, they were important. So they had to get some men from London to take it to London because it's very, very important. And down there was where some people have seen an RAF man in his uniform. We've heard children down there. Not seen them, but heard them. You heard a voice. He's coming, Victor.
Yeah, that was what is their little kind of nightclub bar type thing.
Yeah,
and that's
very
when it wasn't about.
Looking,
yeah, it used to be a 60s. Yeah, it's kind of more just open and tunnels, like a sort of basement kind of wine cellar thing now. But it was when it was empty. Yeah, left a mini disc recorder. Still have mini disc. I'm old school. With a microphone, and it sounds like a child's voice saying, "She's coming, Victor. It's her. Be brave." And there's something else that is said later as well. Again, you want to see that it's on the Paul Gollard channel, Ghosts of Gloucester Cafe Rennie. You put that in to my channel, it will come up. And it's an audio, it's a radio feature, but towards the end of it is where these voices come out. It's not the only time voices been captured. I've sent some other ones through where it actually sounds like a little girl going duck at one point, and or dark it could be, and then running off after.
Yeah.
So
and then we went upstairs for coffee.
Always good.
Left the camera running. We didn't capture anything visual, but we heard audible where the children were saying they've gone.
Yeah, that wasn't me. So I've never heard this when you told me about it.
Yeah,
but I have to hear that one. Yeah.
I've got loads of them, but I have no idea where they. I know where they are, but I don't know which is which now because it's just built up over the years, hasn't it? And it's the old VHS blooming things as well. Great big chunky blooming things. But I keep saying one day I'll go through them, but there must be loads on there that I've missed.
And even when you listen to them, you might have missed something. So it's always good to go back and listen to it again.
Absolutely. And even with these old photographs and videos, I've gone back and I've enhanced them now because years ago I didn't know how to do that.
No.
But I can enhance them now and actually see what was there.
And technology's got better to be able to do that then.
Yeah. So I could have loads of evidence just stuck up in me blooming bedroom.
Yeah.
On top of the wardrobe, collecting dust.
So I think we could do some shameless plugs. So do you wanna plug your books again, and I'll plug myself as well.
Yeah, you plug yours. You've done mine.
Yeah, you go ahead. I've got to reach mine.
Well, what should I do? This one.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah. So this is the first one I did, Paranormal Gloucester, and it's on Amazon. But if you buy it on Amazon, you want it signed, I'll just send a white label, sign it, and it'll be back in your book. Okay. And it's A to Z format. So it's easy to follow, and it's quite thick actually. So that took me 3 months to write that because I actually had a deadline from what was it? Amberley. The second one took me 7 years, but not because I, couldn't remember or whatever. It was just pure busy laziness, if you like. The first front cover was put by a friend of mine called Tony. And the back of them is a caricature of me and another Tony, both local people. And that one isn't A to Z format, but that's more about the Gloucester Ghost Walks and a bit of what we've been talking about tonight. So there's a fun side. This is the more serious, and people's stories as well as my own. And the same with this one. Because obviously, even though Paul and I have got a lot of stories, I like to incorporate other people's stories.
And Becky says, I'm named after your second. I'm named after your second one.
Yeah.
I think that's so.
Gloucester's Ghosts and Giggles is Becky Lewis Russia. And she does the Ghost Walks in Gloucester now and also in Newent. And so we come up with she wanted to come up with a name. I said, use my book's name. So that's what she does. Because I couldn't call it Gloucester Ghost Walks anymore because I'd sold the name to some other people. Not the walks, but the name. And people, when they say Gloucester Ghost Walks, they still thought it was me. In fact, only yesterday somebody said, we booked a tour Wednesday. Are you doing it? I went, no, I'm not, I'm afraid. I retired years ago. So that's me. And
you can get them signed like I've got mine signed.
Yeah. And then we got Paul.
So, I've got some past life regression CDs, also sell MP3s. They're available on eBay at the moment, but I want to try and get it on Amazon sometime soon as well. But I'm still doing one thing at a time. But you can also just email me as well, Paul@PaulGuard NLP, NLP for November Lima Papa, so it's short for Neurolinguistic Program.co.uk. So Paul@PaulGuard NLP.co.uk, and if you're interested in one, or find me on Facebook. I've got these CDs, but also do MP3s as well. So do get in contact if you want to get some of these as well. And I'll do past life regressions, hypnotherapy. I've started, and it is okay because Lindsay said do promote it. Started a new YouTube channel called Paul Guard Paranormal. So Lindsay and John said
shared that today. Yeah,
thank you. And you can also catch me on Help My House is Haunted episode 15.
Yes.
The Chapel of Unrest in Series 4, which is really cool. So we've both been on television.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
And it's you can go onto your YouTube. Is it see your clip? Is it? Because it's on YouTube. Your one. Mine's not on YouTube, but you can go onto yours.
So. Definitely.
Yeah.
But you also Paul also helps people lose weight, anxiety, smoking, nervous. He will try anything to help anybody. So I cannot big this young man up enough. He's one of my best friends. Absolutely adorable, absolutely genuine and honest. And if you need any help, and he will help you, I can assure you of that. He's helped me a load. I'm not, well, you know me, I don't bullshit. I says it as it is, and I mean it. And I love you to bits.
Yeah, and I love you too.
And I love doing what we've just done. And I hope everybody liked it as well. And it came across as, just a nice chat in our living room. Well, Paul's living room.
So I was just going to say night to people because it's a school day for people tomorrow.
Ah, yes.
Yo-Yo, Lorna, good to see you, sweetie. Hello, Yo-Yo.
Yo-Yo. Oh, hello, darling.
How are you doing?
Hello, my love.
Kelly, thank you both.
Kelly, Becky, Yo-Yo, Carol. Everybody.
My bedtime stories from Nanny Lyn. She loves bedtime stories.
Steve.
Must have been. Don't forget to check the EVP towards the beginning of Chit-Chat. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So we'll check that out. Our Nanny Lyn loves Paul. Yeah, of course I do. She's lovely, wonderful, wonderful lady. I'm so glad that I've got her as a friend in my life.
Yeah, me too.
So lots of loves coming for us. Now just pull these up.
You've even tried about Grumpy, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah.
We're still getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah.
And lots of love from Yo-Yo.
Oh, bless you, Yo-Yo.
I
miss you.
Sunshine. Yes.
Yo-Yo. She said I'd welcome down any time. I said, get the better weather down and make sure Grumpy's all right. I'll be down to see her.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely evening. Thank you both.
Thank you all very, very much for watching.
Love this chat. Thank you, everyone. Have an outstanding day tomorrow, or if you're somewhere, hello. I keep looking at the wrong camera.
Yeah.
I hope everybody has an outstanding day tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if you're watching somewhere else in the world and your day's just starting, hope you have an outstanding one. And see you all next week. Take care, everybody.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Still going.
Bye-bye.